Okay, so what if I told you that you could get way more electricity from the exact same amount of falling water? It sounds kind of impossible, right? Like a trick question. But a really brilliant project shows it's not only possible, it's a total game changer. Let's get into it. 32.9%. That number, that's really the whole story right there. That's how much more power one innovative new system managed to squeeze out of the same source. It's a massive, massive leap in efficiency, and we're going to break down exactly how they pulled it off. And here's the part that'll blow your mind. This didn't come from some huge billion-dollar energy company's R&D lab. Nope. It came from an 11th grade student in India, a guy named Abhijit Ranjan Singh. So you have to ask, what did a high school kid see that all the experts were missing? To really get why this solution is so elegant, we first have to understand the problem he was trying to solve. You see, in a lot of remote mountainous areas in India, you've got rivers and streams everywhere, but no electricity. The main grid is just too expensive to build out there. That was the challenge. And this right here, this is the core idea in a single picture. The normal way to do it is to take all your water and funnel it down one big 50-meter drop. But Abhijit's big idea was to ask, wait a minute, what if we break that up into 5 smaller, much smarter 10-meter drops instead? So why is that so much smarter? Well, to get it, we need to talk about why that one big drop method is actually kind of flawed. It turns out, especially when you're talking about small-scale hydropower, faster is definitely not better. In fact, it's incredibly wasteful. Here's the breakdown. There are basically 3 huge problems. First, when water falls 50 meters, it's moving at 113 kilometers per hour. That's literally highway speed. A small, simple turbine just can't handle that kind of velocity efficiently. Second, even after the water blasts past the turbine, it's still moving super fast. All that momentum is just wasted energy, washed downstream. And finally, all that speed creates a ton of splashing and turbulence, which just turns useful energy into useless heat. You know, Abhijit had the perfect way of putting it. He said it's like trying to power something with a speeding car on the highway. The turbines just can't keep up. They can't grab the energy effectively. It's just too chaotic. And just look at this. The numbers are pretty shocking, honestly. In a standard setup, almost 45% of the water's total potential energy is just lost, gone. It's not turned into electricity, it's just wasted as heat and turbulence. When you see a number like that, you just know there has to be a better way. So how do you fix a problem that big? Well, this is where it gets really clever. Abhijit's design isn't just one little tweak. It's a really elegant 2-part solution that attacks both the speed and the waste problems. So here's how it works. Instead of one big pipe, the water flows through this series of stages. At each one, the water fills up a special container. When it's full, its own weight makes it tip over, which, by the way, generates a little bonus power we'll talk about in a sec. Then that water flows to a turbine that's perfectly optimized for that short 10-meter drop, before it heads down to the next stage to do it all over again. Now, this first part is absolutely crucial. Because the water is only falling 10 meters at a time, it hits the turbine at this much slower, almost perfect speed of 14 meters per second. This lets the turbine operate right in its sweet spot, which boosts its efficiency from a kind of mediocre 60% all the way up to 78%. That's a huge improvement, and you get that gain 5 separate times. And then you've got the second part, the bonus power. Remember that tipping container? It's not just there to manage the flow. It's actually connected to a lever and a tiny generator. So every single time it tips, it captures a little bit of extra energy just from the sheer weight of the water. It's free energy that the regular system completely ignores. So, okay, the idea is clever. The theory is sound. But does it actually work? This is where the project gets really impressive, because the calculations show a clear head-to-head winner. The numbers really don't lie. And the results are just staggering. Just look at the wasted energy. It gets cut almost in half, dropping from nearly 45% down to just 26%. And because of that, the overall efficiency of the whole system skyrockets from 55% to over 73%. It is a clear win on every single metric. But this bar chart, this is the bottom line, right? This is the number that really matters. For the exact same amounts of water falling the exact same distance, the old system gets you about 2.7 kilowatts. Abhijit's system gets you 3.6 kilowatts. That's an extra 890 watts of continuous power, basically created out of thin air, just by being smarter. Now,
890 watts might not sound like a ton, but what does that actually mean for a family? Well, it's enough to power 15 LED light bulbs, a refrigerator, a couple of laptops, a TV, fans, you name it. For a home without reliable power, that's the difference between just getting by and having a modern life.
And that really brings us to the most important part of this whole story. This isn't just a cool physics experiment. It's a design that could have a massive human impact, especially for communities that have been left behind. I mean, think about it. For a small village, that 33% boost isn't a small deal. It could mean powering 3 or 4 extra homes from the exact same stream. It means kids can actually do their homework after the sun goes down. It means the local health clinic can finally get a refrigerator to store medicine and vaccines. The impact is just profound. Oh, and there's another brilliant, super practical advantage here. The whole system is way more reliable. In the old design, if that one big turbine breaks, that's it. The whole village goes dark. But here, if one of the 5 stages needs maintenance, the other 4 just keep on working. You still get 80% of the power. It's just a tougher, more resilient design. And Abhijit really summed it up perfectly in his final thoughts on the project. This whole thing didn't require inventing some new law of physics or some crazy new material. It was just about applying what we already know in a much, much smarter way to solve a real problem for real people. This whole story is just a powerful reminder, isn't it? That sometimes the biggest breakthroughs don't come from some brand new, complicated invention. They come from looking at an old problem and just asking a simple question. Is there a better way to break this down?